Poltergals presents Terrifying Tales.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Allison.
And we're the Poltergals.
Spooky. Ghost Stories of the Rocky Mountains. Written by Barbara Smith. Published in 1999 by Lone Pine Publishing. One-armed ghosts. In the 1890s, the Cripple Creek area of Colorado was not for the faint of heart. It was a coal mining country, a place where only the strong survived, and some of them were so tenuously that even death wouldn't make them give up. Many mysterious tales surround the district, but one particular mine, the so-called Mamie R, has wrought some especially blood-chilling folklore. The mine had earned a gruesome reputation over the years. There had been deaths at the mine, and as a result, many people concluded that the shafts were home to evil, supernatural beings. In 1894, these rumors were likely not on anyone's mind when the crew at the top of the shaft heard the signal from below to lower the lift device and bring up a miner. The lift operators responded, waited a moment, and then began to raise the bucket. They were most surprised to find it empty. More puzzled than concerned, they put the strange incident out of their minds. A few nights later, the signal happened again. This time, however, the bucket came up with a dreadful loud, a fatal injured miner. He looked to be barely alive. One of his arms had been blown off, and his face was covered in blood. The workers immediately reached out to help the man, but their hands went right through the gruesome-looking image, as though nothing was there. Seconds later, as they watched in disbelief, the one-armed miner climbed out of the bucket and began to walk away. He only got a few steps before disappearing before their eyes. Stunned silence reigned for a moment. Then they agreed to call the miners below to the surface. It was only then that the lift operators learned that the first day that they heard the signal to lower the bucket, but no one had ridden up in it. The miners down below had encountered the badly injured phantom for the first time. The image had struggled to the lift. The signal to raise it had been sounded, and as the bucket ascended, the man simply vanished. The miners below had been so afraid that they agreed not to tell anyone about what they had seen. The awful scene was played out again and again in the coming weeks. Scuttlebutt had it that the mine was not only haunted by jinx. On Christmas Day in 1894, the miners found the Mamie R's shaft full of water. They used the lift buckets in an attempt to bail it out. As the bucket was being lowered for the 13th time, the cable came off its spindle, catching the operator's neck. As his co-workers watched in helpless horror, he was beheaded. That was enough. The Mamie R at Cripple Creek was closed down for good. And the interesting addendum to these ghost stories, the listings of the Colorado State Bureau of Mines does not show that such a mine ever existed in such a location. A conspiratorial cover-up? Perhaps. If you find that thought uncomfortable, you might be relieved to know that although these grisly ghost stories date from 1894, and the official records go back to 1895. But Cripple Creek and the Mamie R were not the only mining locations in Colorado to be home to a one-armed ghost. Such sightings were also reported at both the Chippewa No. 6 and the Stevens Mines. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or on YouTube at The Poltergals, or on Instagram at _Poltergals. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com.
You've been listening to The Poltergals,
a Rogue Media Network podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.